After years on the road, Toomey parked the van and picked up the mic to bring you this podcast that features interviews with people from hardcore to hair metal. This is Talk Toomey with your host, Joshua Toomey.
Hey, this is Chris Kael from Five Finger Death Punch. You're listening to Talk Toomey.
Chris Kael, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming on. I know I've only got you for a few minutes, so let's go ahead and get into this. Tell me how.
Good, man. My pleasure.
Cool. Tell me how the tour is going.
Oh, it's great. We're out here with Papa Roach in this moment, from ashes to new, touring all across the United States. Had some really big shows. I think the biggest one was in one of the Dakotas. About 10,000 people showed up for that one.
Wow.
Nice big outdoor show. Yeah, it was crazy. So, yeah, we're playing all arenas on this tour, as we did with the Volbeat thing. So, nice big crowds, lots of positive response, doing some new stuff off of Got Your Six. And even on one part, I'm actually getting to sing a couple of verses. So
nice.
My vocals have stepped up a little bit on this one. So it's nice. I've always loved singing, and it's good to be able to have that opportunity to step up on the main mic and do some more vocals.
Nice. Yeah, again, in preparation for this podcast, I actually downloaded, Got Your Six and was listening to it. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I really feel like you guys wrote that album for arenas.
100%. 100%. It was, we were examining our live set the last time we were out. And, we got some real strong, big hits with songs like Coming Down, Remember Everything, The Wrong Side of Heaven, stuff that's kind of, I don't want to say lighter fare, but, all honesty, it is kind of lighter fare with that stuff. Great songs, but not real heavy. So we were looking to have some more four-on-the-floor stompers, basically, on this record, kind of revamp some life back into the live set rather than relying on the big number one hits that we've had, try to get back in and get some more stompers. So you can definitely tell that attitude on the record for sure. Yeah,
with the single, the Jekyll and Hyde single, I every time I hear it, I just imagine the entire crowd doing the oh part.
Yep. That's one of the great parts about that live set is them singing along to that for sure.
And with your live set and with you and the Kael Army, how are you seeing the Kael Army out there?
It's great, man. I mean, it started off. I had an idea years ago with the douchebag shirts that I've had. That's where it all started off, as far as the T-shirt stuff goes. And once I got into Death Punch, I'm a huge fan of Kiss, and kind of a tribute to them who, without having seen Gene Simmons at a young age, I probably wouldn't be doing this thing. But kind of a tribute to them and a tribute to the fans as well. Came up with the Kael Army shirt, and see a bunch of those out there. See a lot of the Shit Yes Sons, the Cthulhu shirts, a lot of stuff out there. So if you wear one of my shirts to the show, I'm going to recognize it. I'm going to see you, and I'm going to do my damnedest to hit you with a guitar pick wherever you're at in that arena. I've been working out a lot, so I got some good guns that can get it to the back of the arena, even if you're way back there.
It's going to be Jesus Christ. Good thing I can edit these. Good thing I can edit these.
Pull it together, Toomey.
Yeah, no, God. I'm so starstruck right now. I don't know what to do.
Oh, get out of here. Ass.
No, what I was saying, with all that working out and stuff, you're going to have to get those guns for those 10,000 seaters, and get them picked to the back of the room. Yeah,
Jason Hook is the king of the pick flick.
Oh, yeah?
And, he gave me tips way back when I first started. And, I think using his technique with my muscle gains from the last couple of years of lifting weights, I've got it down at this point.
Nice. So with the theme of, playing larger venues and the arenas and all that stuff, there's a lot of talk these days about who are the next festival headliners, when Kiss retires, if they ever do, mm-hmm. and Black Sabbath is obviously, going to retire, and Iron Maiden and all that stuff. So do you believe that Five Finger Death Punch could take that reign over?
Man, we are definitely poised. I mean, that's never something that you would expect or say, oh yeah, we're going to be the next Black Sabbath. I mean, fuck. I didn't think I was going to be the next Death Punch, let alone Black Sabbath,
Right.
But, I mean, we are in a position where we got a ton of fans out there. We sold millions of records at this point. To me, bands like Black Sabbath, like Metallica, Iron Maiden, I mean, that's like, just in my own head, that's unattainable, Those are special bands, and I definitely hold them up in high regards on a shelf. Would I like to be there? Fuck yes, I'd like to be there. playing those huge shows and stepping into those shoes and filling them. But yeah, that's something that you really can't ever expect to happen. It just kind of happens, and that's based on, the fans. I can't go out there and buy 2 million records, 3 million records. That's got to be on the fans. I can't go out there and spend the money on the tickets to get everybody in there. That's a natural, organic thing that happens. And, we're good at what we do. A great live band, all great musicians. We put on a great show. We're doing everything we can possible to put on a good show for the fans and get those fans out there. So as long as the fans are out there supporting, which they have been, and we truly appreciate it, they keep on coming in droves. And I always hear about us reaching new people, even at the level that people perceive us being at right now. We're still gaining new fans, So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it's not going to be for lack of hard work. That's for damn sure.
With that too, congrats on the number 2 album in the country.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Number 2 on Billboard, but number 1 in physical sales for the week.
Number 1 in your heart.
Yeah, and the hearts of 114 other thousand people out there.
So what is it about Five Finger Death Punch and Disturbed, and there's a handful of bands that actually do still sell records? What do you think that is?
I really don't know, honestly. I've wondered that myself. Again, 100% appreciative, but I think it probably goes into probably our personal connection with the fans. We're all in charge of our own social media outlets. So if you're following me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, those are all run by us. It's not some PR marketing guy sitting in an office running things. That's actual us. So there's certainly a personal connection. And, with social networking and the social media stuff these days, you really develop a feel for, kind of having a friend in a band, and you always want to support your friends. That's about the only thing that I can think of that would, lend itself to the record sales that we're having, aside from the fact that, we're putting out great songs and great records that we're putting a lot of work into. But I think that definitely the skewed view that if you're, it's a blurred reality these days, where if you're a friend of somebody on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff, it's like you actually have a real friend, and that connection is very strong with us. We're very active, very involved, and we do have that kind of connection. And like I said, I think people just want to help their friends, and luckily we got a lot of friends out there.
Well, that's the one thing I thought with, when you first joined the band and you went to social media and, wish everybody a happy birthday when their birthday came around. And I thought, and if, Rex from Pantera wished me a happy birthday when I was 15, I think I would have killed over dead, had that happened back then. Gene Simmons ever wished me a happy birthday on my birthday, something like that. So, when you first joined Five Finger Death Punch and you were able to do that, the birthday thing every day and the Kael Army shirts, I really feel like some people would have joined a huge band like that, sat back and just kind of rode the wave. But I kind of feel like you took it on head on, greeting the fans, making the shirts, even all the way up to the VIP bass packages where you're basically giving a stage, selling a stage played bass nightly. That's
that
crazy.
actually came from most of the stuff comes from my admiration of Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
Saw him at the age of 3, and you were talking about the birthday thing. That was my mentality exactly. If Gene Simmons had sent me even a 2-word message, happy birthday, I would have fucking freaked out, So I would never put myself in the same scale as being a Gene Simmons, because again, that's somebody that I hold up on a pedestal as a fan myself. But there are people that are really excited about that sort of fan interaction, and my main goal with this whole thing is just to positively affect lives and make people happy and kind of get out there and change the world through little actions like that. And I still stay up on it. If I have a connection and I have my laptop with me, I still do the birthday thing now. It's harder to do on my phone, but if I have a laptop out and I have a connection every single day, I still go out and do those birthdays on Facebook.
Yeah, I've just noticed through social media, I've noticed, you've connected with the fans on a whole nother level. And, with the band, and I kind of keep going to that, but with a band of your stature, for you to actually just continue to talk to everyone as much as you can, that's got to be taxing.
It does get a little taxing, but I mean, Ronnie James Dio was talking about it forever ago. He was talking something along the lines of, you'll never remember the names, you'll never remember the faces, but they'll remember that 1 minute interaction for the rest of their lives. It doesn't take that much to get out there and change somebody's life and make them smile. And if I can do little things like that all throughout the day, the influence spreads. And, in a world where so much negative is going on, I prefer to be a positive influence, and that kind of lends itself to that.
Nice.
Yeah, that bass package actually came from Gene Simmons too. He sells his axes and the Punisher basses that he plays on stage. And Scott Uchida, who is my string rep from Dunlop, he goes, "Man, you like Gene Simmons a lot. Why don't you start trying to sell some basses?" I was like, "Nobody's gonna want my fucking bass." He goes, "Dude, people like you more than you think they do." So I'll put them up on the website, because I already had the chriskael.com set up for T-shirt sales and whatnot. So I started offering the basses on there, and yeah, it's been great. Real cool reaction. It's the bass that I play on stage the entire time. It's not like I'm playing it one song and then tossing it over to the side and giving that to the fan. It's a bass that's set up by my guy with my strings, with my specifications. It's the real bass that I play on stage for the entire show. So again, going back to, were I able to buy one of Gene Simmons' bass, even now his basses are out of my pay scale. But if I could afford to get his bass, fuck yes, I would. You sell me a Gene Simmons bass for $2,000? Hell yes, I'm buying that thing.
It's insane. So I know that you guys played with Kiss overseas and stuff. How was that? How was actually getting to play with Kiss?
Fucking intimidating. It really was. It was a childhood dream come true. But once you get in front of a crowd like that, you realize that they don't give a fuck who the opener is. They're there to see Kiss, and I 100% get it. I mean, we obviously had a lot of fans out there too, but the majority of them were there just to see Kiss. And it was intimidating. The first night we went out there, we did 2 shows with them in Germany initially. I forget which cities it was, but the first night we were trying to figure out our set list, and we were all like, yeah, we're going out, we're showing them we're Death Punch, we're coming out with all the heavy stuff. Let's get out there and destroy this crowd. And this crowd did not care. It was about 3 songs into it, you start hearing slowly the chant, "We want Kiss, we want Kiss." I'm like, fuck, we bit off more than we could chew. But then the next night, we went out and played the hits, the radio stuff, and it went over much better, because people were, again, there to see Kiss, but they knew the songs from the radio, and that's basically what we played. Kind of went with like a festival set, and that went over much better. So we learned our lesson, not coming out trying to rip people's faces off at a Kiss show, just come out with the hits and give them something they're familiar with.
That's another thing too with Five Finger Death Punch is you guys are on terrestrial radio. You're in heavy rotation, and this is super heavy songs and super heavy band. And I wonder where you guys broke through to be almost that band or there's a couple of bands on, but for the most part it's Avenged Sevenfold, Disturbed, and Five Finger Death Punch, and then you get Candlebox, 7 Mary 3, and Live. It's not
exactly.
So,
a lot of that's got to do with our management, and we work with Jackie Kaiser, who is Full Metal Jackie. She's a radio genius, got a lot of connections, just a very good radio girl in the sense that she knows what she's doing. She's got to develop positive relationships over the years. And, we put out great songs that people want to hear, combine that with Jackie and her expertise. And Jeremy's a real good radio guy too. Jeremy's, I don't know what his background is as far as that goes, but he's always watching radio charts and seeing what's charting, what's moving where. He's very involved in that side of things as well. So definitely, again, very fortunate and very, very happy to be that band that's on the radio all the time. As a kid, you grow up wanting to hear that one song of yours on the radio that one time, and to be able to get in the car and hear our songs over and over again, it's still a bit overwhelming.
I've known you for 20 years, and just getting in the car daily, and there'll be a Five Finger Death Punch song on the radio, and it's just it's like you can't get away from it. And that being said,
it literally is like I live in an alternate universe. It really is, because I still feel like the same guy on the inside, still got the same friends, though the spotlight is now much bigger, and the profile is certainly more global at this point, but I still feel like the same guy.
And the one thing too,
big things are happening around me.
and knowing you too, and we'll get a little bit more on a personal level of like, who in their right mind moves from Lexington, Kentucky to Las Vegas to make it in music, and then and then it does. And like that's the second part. Like what was that?
One of the things I like to keep on pointing out. How many people do you know that knew what they wanted to do at the age of 3, and I'm in my 40s now, and actually doing what I wanted to do at the age of 3?
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody that knew that early what they wanted to do, continued to follow it, and then actually got it.
You kind of threw the towel in right before Five Finger Death Punch.
100%.
You had, this isn't the first time you've had a dreaded beard. You had the dreaded beard. You cut it off. You you sent me a picture of it. Basically said you were out, and then like a week later, you text me saying, I have huge news. I can't tell you anything about it yet.
Yep.
And then like a month later, you're in Five Finger Death Punch.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why in those early promo shots of you have like a smooth trim beard, but 2 months before those pictures, you had the dreaded beard before.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing to think. Like the one time you're like, all right, it's over. I'm gonna, you're 38, whatever, 35 at the time, and time to throw the towel in.
I was either 35 or 36 when it hit.
Yeah. So that's crazy.
Yeah, I was ready. I mean, I'd cut the beard off for a new job in Vegas. I was bartending at the Cosmopolitan and making good money. And I was like, you know what? I've been doing music this long. What are the chances of, me going out and being able to make a living at this point? I'm going to have to start a brand new project. I was like, I don't know if I got it in me anymore. So put my basses up on Craigslist, had my amps on Craigslist, sold a couple of different things, and finally took that one last chance knowing the Death Punch was in Las Vegas and looking for a bass player, and we had a lot of mutual friends. So I reached out and took that one last chance, and that's the one that got me.
That's such a crazy story.
Yeah.
But and then
even in the sense that they had the pick of the litter at that point. They already had War is the Answer had gone gold. Way of the Fist had gone gold. They were getting ready to work on their 3rd record. They could have had anybody, and to take a chance on some dude that reaches out on Facebook. Well, it's even crazier. That's how I reached out. I sent Jason Hook a message on Facebook, and I was like, "Hey, I'm your guy. Look no further. I know you're looking for a bassist. Check our mutual friends. I'm sure they'll all give me a positive recommendation. All I'm looking for is an audition." And Jason Hook, with his inquiring mind, was like, "This is interesting and very forward. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. Might make for a good story." It certainly did. I think it's worked out well for all of us.
That's such a crazy story. I mean, just for all of the events in everyone's lifetime to all meet up in Vegas like that. I listened to like a podcast the other day with Zoltan, and it's pretty much he has the most insane story I've ever heard in my life. So
which one is that one?
Just where he came from, and making made his first guitar out of a coffee table, and basically just having to get out of the country is escaping me right now, but basically having to sneak out of a country to get to America, and
it's really crazy, like the life events that happened to all 5 of us to get us into the same position. It's weird how life works that way,
It is very strange. How so with him being from Hungary and kind of just a different background growing up, what's it like being in a band with him?
He's very hard nosed, which works well for us.
Yeah.
He's very, very Eastern European, Soviet bloc, takes no shit, very, very direct and forward. And that works well in this business. I'm very much the nice guy, doesn't want to rub anybody the wrong way. Zoltan is hard nosed and driven. Always very fair, always does the right thing, but very direct, no bullshit with that guy.
Nice. And with your fans out there,
and in a business full of bullshit and bullshitters, it's nice and refreshing to have someone on your side that's neither one of those.
Right. So with your fans out there, and with all of our listeners listening to this, they know you're a huge UK fan, University of Kentucky Wildcats. So tell me, the other life dream basically is you guys got to do Rupp Arena, but not only Rupp Arena, but they pretty much gave you the run of the place, and then you were there for a few days just doing tour production. What about that dream come true?
Yeah, I mean, to be able to start off the brand new tour in Lexington, Kentucky at Rupp Arena. You know, we had our pre-production there. They gave me full run of the Rupp Arena Instagram site. So I was posting all day long. As you know, I'm a social networking whore, so take over the Rupp Arena Instagram account was fun. But yeah, I mean, that's a dream come true. Playing places like the Rockledge and JDI's and A1A and all those other places I played back in Lexington to, you know, tops maybe. My biggest show was probably 300 at one point at A1A. To go from those to living the dream, doing Rupp Arena as a headliner even, you know, the very first time I ever played Rupp Arena. Fucking Rupp Arena headlining show with Five Finger Death Punch.
Like, once again, with the whole, just the whole story is just like an unattainable dream, you know, and to headline Rupp Arena. I live in Louisville, so I mean, I hear about it, but it doesn't seem like they do a lot of shows, period. So
exactly.
for them to actually do the show, I mean, I'm sure.
One of the coolest things too was that they knew that I was a huge Kentucky fan, and I got to take a tour of the University of Kentucky Wildcats locker room at Rupp Arena. I got to go to their training facility. They hooked me up with all kinds of swag. I got to go in and see the trophies. It was, I mean, really, you know, for a hometown kid coming back home, they really rolled out. I was going to say the red carpet, but that's too Louisville. They rolled out the blue carpet for me.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, speaking of Louisville, what the fuck's going on with Louisville these days?
Oh, man.
All these wars and prostitutes. Good job, Louisville. Nice work. Fucking the rock stars of college basketball right there.
That's right. I think you. They got
story on Kentucky Sports Radio on their Twitter account. I'm like,
I'm sure it was very biased towards, you know, Louisville too, right?
No, not at all, man. Not at all.
They got to compete with Calipari somehow, you know.
No, that's true. Can't afford to pay. Might as well bring the hookers in, right?
Nice. Oh, man.
But yeah, I mean, that was another cool thing too. With my state plate bass that I have, the Spectre, I had a guy from Vegas paint up a very special University of Kentucky bass for me. I had the 5 faces of the coaches that have won championships at Kentucky, along with the University of Kentucky logo, all done in a blue and white font. And I can't say where it's going to go just yet, but I'm happy that this is going to be available for people to publicly see in a case somewhere. So nice. I'm not going to say where it's going just yet because I don't want to jinx it, and it's still being negotiated to get everything worked out. But there's a good chance that bass is going to end up on the wall somewhere and available for everyone to see.
Most likely the Hard Rock Cafe in Louisville, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
That was the original intention. Fuck yeah. I was like, because I wanted to give it to the University of Kentucky Basketball Museum first.
Yeah.
And but it doesn't exist anymore. I was like, wait a minute. There's a fucking Hard Rock right in the middle of Louisville. How great would it be to have my Kentucky bass hanging above the bar in the middle of enemy territory?
Right. Oh, man.
So, yeah. That option is there if the other one drops out. So you may see it right there. I can only imagine the mixed emotions of Louisville fans going in there excited to see the Five Finger Death Punch bass and then seeing the UK logo emblazoned on it. I want to be there when I see those mixed emotions happening.
So that's another thing from your past. You know, you spent many a year bartending at the Hard Rock Cafe, and then you went on to do you were doing the stuff around the world with the Hard Rock, and then now to have your bass basically hanging above the bar that you used to run. You know, how does that feel? Again, one of those
as we go down the list of dreams that have actually come true. That's another one. I used to have you actually played this bass forever ago, a BC Rich Warlock, which was the first real bass that I had. And my dream always was to have that bass on the wall of a Hard Rock once I, quote unquote, made it big.
Yeah.
And, that bass actually got stolen out of the garage at one point. So that one was no longer available. But at the Hard Rock in Las Vegas, right outside of the Hard Rock Hotel, I bartended there for years. And they gave me the chance to put my bass right up on the wall behind the bar where I used to work. So when you get into Vegas, swing by, check that out, see the place where I used to work, at the bar that I used to work. And now where that bass faces, anytime there's a show at the Hard Rock, my wife and I always stop in there to grab dinner. And we always sit right in front of that bass. And we were sitting there before the bass was even there. And it just happened to be that's the spot they put it at.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, our meeting story is pretty crazy too. Where my band opened for your band. We had line checked all of our equipment. I had set my bass down to just to wait. The sound guy there walks by and knocks my bass over, breaks my headstock, and I'm a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, touring musician with only one bass out, and I'm frantically running around like trying to find someone with a bass. And you were like, "You can use mine," and you pulled out that black BC Rich Warlock, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is the most metal thing." That thing was weighted so terribly. Like if you just took you took your hands off of it,
and the fucking headstock goes right down.
It goes right down. I just remember, just playing that bass. I've actually still got video of that somewhere. Playing that bass, it's so funny.
Rules,
yeah. But good times. So. Well, Chris, I know you got to go. I know you got all kinds of wonderful stuff to do. Go ahead and just.
They're coming up here in just a little bit. We're out here in Toledo. I got to walk from the bus through the rain, the wind, and the cold to go be with the fans. Coming up.
Cool. Well, tell everybody where obviously about the new record, and then where they can find you on all your many social media outlets.
The new record is "Got Your Six." It's our sixth record. Came out a few weeks ago. I forget the date already, but it just came a while ago. Very, very happy with it again. Going back to being a bit more aggressive and more up tempo, 4-on-the-floor type stuff. So get out there, pick that up. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the number 5FDP Chris Kael. I'm on both of those. Facebook is facebook.com/official Chris Kael, I believe it is. And if you're looking for any of the shirts and merchandise, or you want to get your own stage played bass from Spectre, you can get that at www.chriskael.com. That's KAEL.com.
All right, Chris. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I will talk to you soon, sir.
My pleasure, my friend, and I'll see you back that way sometime next year. We're going to be touring quite a bit. I've already seen the schedule and know where we're going to be going, so we will be in your area next year.
Cool. When we do that, we'll actually have a sit-down interview. Then we'll have to get that together.
Yeah, perfect. Sounds good.
All right, man. Be careful.